You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Alabama. So, Lauren,
Yes, Kenzie.
let's get scary.
So you graduate.
Did you know what that was from?
No.
Well, I didn't want to say Greenbow because we're not talking about that, but it's from Forrest Gump. Greenbow, Alabama.
Oh, I haven't seen Forrest Gump in a while. I'm sorry.
But yes, I'm graduating.
You're graduating.
When this episode goes out, will be the day of my graduation.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so exciting.
So if you actually read the caption, unlike Lauren, who doesn't apparently read.
I read them, but it's always, okay, here's the thing. I always read them, and then the one I don't read is the one you'll, like, quiz me on.
Well, then I guess you should just play it safe and read all of them.
I should.
But
I like them.
I said that things might become more timely, but
We all know.
I am not a timely person.
No.
I used to be
When?
when I was younger. I was always on time.
Because other people made you be on time? Like your parents driving you places on time?
No, I would always make Jesse be on time and like getting to school on time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know, I'm good at getting to appointments on time. But I told you I was going to be sleepy today.
Yes, we had a busy weekend. My mom's nonprofit called Mobile Hope. We had a big Christmas Village event.
Mm-hmm.
So we volunteered and we handed out gift cards to the older kids.
It's so cold.
Well, the younger kids got to go around and get presents and meet Santa, and it was very fun.
It's so
But it was
cold.
freezing. In the pictures that Mackenzie posted, my nose is super, super red because it's so
Same,
cold.
Same.
Oh,
Yep.
not a fan.
No.
Ugh.
Next time we'll have to get a space heater.
Yes. I'd go in on a space heater.
Yeah. Well, I also told Mom that I was like, look, me and teenagers, I take My Chemical Romance, the song Teenagers, very seriously.
So we had the teenager station, and so they would
scared
come
the shit
up.
out of me.
I would talk to the teenagers, and Mackenzie's like, I'm just going to go
I
over
didn't
here.
say a fucking word. The only time I ever like looked up and said something was when the kid was like 11.
So 11 and under is like who you can handle.
Yes, that's who I have worked with for the last 8 years. Some might say it's my job.
Oh, look
So
at that.
I told Mom that I was like, please stop putting me with the teenagers. Please.
But I'm always with the teenagers, so that's why you're with me. Yay.
And I love being with you, but the only thing I'm ever going to do is put the gift cards together.
But see, that was such an important role,
That's true.
and we needed it to be done.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did.
I wouldn't have minded talking with little kids, though.
Are you going to be like an elf next year and walk the little kids around?
No. I want to be stationary.
Okay.
I've been like brainstorming of what I could do. I was going to say face painting, but I was like, it's too cold.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was going to say temporary tattoos, but it's too cold.
Yeah, there are.
Because the water's going to freeze. And so I'm like trying to think of like what's something that could be quick.
Glitter tattoos.
Well, I don't want them to have to like lift up an arm or
That's true.
whatever.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'm thinking of like some sort of easy craft to make.
I don't know. We can brainstorm.
I know how to make snowmen out of rice and tube socks. Maybe it could be like decorating a snowman. I could put all the snowmen together with the rice and the tube socks, and then they get to decorate their snowman.
Oh, that would be cute.
And they have a little snowman they can take home.
Okay, yeah, that's very cute. But yeah, that was our week. Joe is currently napping
Yes.
until his football game. They're probably going to lose because I have to go shopping after this, so I'm not here to watch it.
The only reason the Ravens ever win is if Lauren is actually watching the game.
No, but for real though, it's been like consistent. Like every time that I've watched, they've won. Every time that I haven't watched, they've lost. Except one time when I was sick. And so Joe thinks that my sickness affected it because they didn't win that one.
And he had to have a reason for why it didn't work.
Yeah. But my coworker is also a big Ravens fan. And one day I didn't watch and he comes over and goes, "Where were you yesterday?" I was like,
Well,
I'm so sorry.
What this means is for next season, you have to watch every single game. That is the only way we could see if this was actually true.
Okay. Well, it started last year in the playoffs. And it was legit through all the playoffs, except their very last game. But Joe and I have like a way that we sit on the couch.
And you didn't sit
And
on
we-
the couch that.
We didn't sit that correct way for the last playoffs game and they lost.
I'm fucking done. Of course, babe, look, we have to do this or else they're not
They're
going to
gonna
win.
lose.
It's part of the ritual. You have to do it.
And we didn't do it and they lost. So
Now you have to do it. You screwed yourself.
I know. So so they're gonna lose today.
That sucks for Joe and me for some of the people on my fantasy team.
Oh yeah.
I've been losing at fantasy. I was doing so well and then but now it's gotten to the point that I've lost enough times. I'm like, well, now I don't care.
So do you guys have a bet where the loser of your fantasy group has to do something?
I think we all like put in $25.
Oh, so they win money.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know like some where they have to do like the 24-hour Waffle House challenge, or another group, they had the loser run a half marathon. Not like one that they planned. Like they had to run 13 miles. And at every mile, they had to drink a beer of the team's choosing. So the beer ended up being a milk-based stout. But yeah, so Joe's, I can't remember what it is, but whoever lost in his thing has to do something. I can't remember what it is, though. But they all have like awful things they have to do if they lose.
I will never do a bet of any kind where I have to do something. I can't.
We were about to, on Fantasy Year, we were about to do the Wheel of Doom. And it was like a wheel that has all this awful stuff written on it. And if you spin it, you'd have to do whatever the awful thing is. We didn't stay committed to fantasy that long, so we didn't do it.
Yeah, when it comes to having to do something, like in Truth or Dare, I always pick Truth. I will never pick Dare. I don't want to have to do anything.
I get that.
I'm not good at doing anything. I'm good at making sure other people do things. I will not do. Like, that's why, like, I love Slap Cup. Like, it's fun.
Love Slap Cup.
But it also gives me a lot of anxiety because I was like, I'm not going to drink that cup.
Oh,
I'm not going to do
cup.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I won't. So I'm really need to win so that I don't have to be that person that says no.
Right. Because then you kind of...
And because then I'm that person.
You look awful because you're that person. And
right.
No one wants to play with that person.
So that's why I'm like, nah, I'll just watch. Like, unless I'm feeling like really, depending on who I'm next to.
But see, it's also a really like tricky thing because if your ball accidentally bounces into that cup, you got to drink it anyways.
Yeah. Well,
You just have to be really good at the game, like myself.
Thankfully,
and then you never get the bitch cup.
We either have the table but are indoors, or we're outdoors and we don't have the table. And so I don't really ever have to worry about it.
I hate when we change it from slap cup to stack cup. Because if you don't slap it, you stack instead. So instead of slapping the cup, you stack your cups in there.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So then you'll end up having one person who has one cup that they have to bounce it in, and another one who has like 15 cups they have to try to bounce it in.
Actually, what was fun and what I will do is we played this at the football game. We took a table, you make a grid on it, and you have 4 people. And so you and the person across from you are against each other.
Oh, okay.
So we would be against each other, and then whoever's like next to us, and you play flip cup. And so you fill it up, you drink it, you flip it. When you get it to land, you move, there's a shot glass in the middle.
Oh, fun.
And you move that closer to whoever you're against. And so it's moving this way and it's moving that way.
Ooh.
Which I know no one can see me what my hands are doing. But think about it, this way and that way. It's 2 different directions.
You can figure it out. Yeah.
And so you like keep going and you pour a little bit in, you drink it, you flip the cup, and then if it crosses your line, you have to take the shot. I could do that.
How many times did you lose?
Once.
Oh, okay. Not too bad.
Really only because the other 2 people we were playing with, one of them always lost. So like the person I was playing against, we never really had to worry about it because it always crossed.
So there's only one shot glass as you're playing.
Yeah. So like, but it's technically 2 different people versus each other.
Yeah.
So like the person who's next to me is trying to get the person across from them out. So it's moving like up and down and side to side.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So like.
Oh, I see. Because it's a grid.
Because it's a grid.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So that I would do.
Yeah.
I like flip cup.
And also because a shot isn't like a super bad like thing to have to take.
Right.
A whole bitch cup when people just pour whatever drinks they want into it.
Yeah.
Great.
And it used to always be beer. And I'm like, look, I can't chug to begin with, let alone beer.
Oh, ours would be beer, a shot here, random other thing here, 4 different types of beer. Disgusting.
Yeah, we were never that cruel to each other. Most of
That was our game. Like, Slap Cup was our game, so we made it a whole thing.
I think it was mostly because whenever we did play Slap Cup, it would be a mix of people. So it's not like one group of friends.
Oh, yeah. It would be our group of friends plus our others. Like, Joe met all of my college friends for the first time through a game of Slap Cup.
Yeah.
And that's when people's true emotions came out.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And so that's really how everyone became very close. And they're like, okay, he can hang out with his group. Like, we're not too much.
I will just never forget when you came to visit Radford and we just
dominated beer pong.
And I look back now, the table was much shorter than standard because I've never been able to replicate that.
I've never been more proud of us than that day.
It was amazing.
We were like celebrity status.
And there would even be times where we'd go into like double Jeopardy and have to like
do the chandelier and we'd get the chandelier and we would win.
You know, like triple overtime here. And then it got to a point where I'm like, okay, this is where we stop.
We have to stop on top.
Right. And it was like one of the ones where like we were skin of our teeth. He won. And I said, we're out.
This is the universe telling us,
yes,
leave.
We are going to leave on top and have these bragging rights forever.
Forever. What has it been?
Don't say
7 years now?
When
would it have been? I came to visit you.
Ago.
No.
It was junior year of college. That would have been 2014,
That's
2015.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
10 years ago.
Oh, so 10 years later, we're still... Wow.
So obviously it meant a lot to us.
It did mean
we're still talking about it 10 years later. A year at this point, since we're almost to 2025, it will have been 10 years since we graduated college.
Graduated in 2016.
I know, but since we're close to 2025.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Yes.
Yeah.
Ew.
I know.
That means our 15-year high school reunion will be coming up eventually.
Oh, 15.
I don't think there's ever a 15. It's like a 20, and then 30, and then 40.
I went to 10. I don't need to go to any of the other ones.
No, but I've been told by my parents that the older ones are more fun because then people like really change. Like in 10 years, you're not changing very much.
Yeah, but I don't think any of us gave enough shit about each other and or high school to go to a 20-year reunion.
It could be fun.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun. I'm just saying that I don't think anyone would go.
But it's also like we see each other on social media.
Exactly.
You know, so it's not like, oh, what have you been up to? Like, I know what you've been up to. I've seen your entire life on social media.
Exactly.
And I'm not like shocked by what you look like because social media.
Right. And we all look the same.
Pretty much.
Like we all look the fucking same. Plus or minus a wrinkle. Maybe more defined laugh lines. Like,
or frown lines.
For some.
For some. Okay, should we talk about Alabama?
Sure. Oh, okay. So here's what I started doing. I've started using ChatGPT on a regular basis for the state facts because it is just so much easier.
Just so cool.
So if for whatever reason you're the type of person that looks at our Works Cited page, which good for you, you'll see that for some of them it just says ChatGPT.
I have that in my notes for this year or for this week too.
Right, because ChatGPT doesn't give me its sources.
Yeah.
The whole internet is its source.
Right.
So who knows where it's getting its information from. But I included a few historical facts. Some of them are really fucking cool. So some of them might come back around when we start to do our dark history.
Ooh.
But, just we're almost done with this round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting antsy.
I know you are.
I'm bored. So I've started including like just a short list of some fun historical facts about the state and that maybe one of them might come back around.
Fun.
Like really just like setting the mood for dark history because I'm so over nature.
You put the nature one on yourself.
I know, because at the time when I first came up with it, genius, this is awesome. And then
almost a year later,
I came up with a new idea and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm ready to do that one.
Well, soon enough. We're almost there.
My ADHD is going to be both a blessing and a curse to us. Because things are going to be changing constantly, both good and unnecessary.
We're so lucky.
Like the next round is going to have like new social media type posts.
Oh.
Well, because like, okay, I think of it as, with TV shows, like the intro sometimes would change, like it would update. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to be doing every time.
Oh, okay.
Except not our intro, just the posts.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get bored and I'm going to want to do it again. And I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands.
I know. It's so exciting.
So did I tell you I'm going to try to take up knitting?
No.
Yeah, it uses both hands. So that's perfect.
Okay.
It leaves no snacking. Because that is my biggest concern is I'm like, I'm going to be sitting on my couch playing my games that eventually are not going to be challenging enough. And I don't need two hands to do those.
Wow. Okay. Knitting.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to knit me like a pair of socks?
We'll see if I hold on to knitting and that habit for long enough to make a pair of socks.
I love you so much, but I don't think you will.
Exactly.
I think it'll be like your hyperfixation for a little bit. And then that's how I am with felting. I started felting and I made pumpkins downstairs. This is when we lived in Reston like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Got really into it. Bought 2 boxes. Can't find the boxes. Want them. Looked for them literally 2 days ago. Can't find them.
You probably got rid of them because you're like, you don't
No,
do
I
this
know
anymore.
I didn't get rid of them. I know I didn't. I just don't know where they went in the move. I know. I want to find them.
Well, here's the thing. I have devised a plan with my psychiatrist so that I don't do that. Because I've expressed that I'm like, I have all these ideas, but I don't want to just go crazy.
Right.
Like I colored for the first time in 8 months.
Oh my gosh. You did used to be big into coloring.
Right. And I like want to get back to that. Also, time. Like I needed to be like, you got to stop. Like you don't have fucking time to do this.
But now
I do. But I would do it like all day to the point where by the evening time, my vision would be blurry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kenzie.
I know. So I don't want to do that.
You shouldn't.
So I'm going to try to come up with a schedule for my hobbies.
Okay.
Where, I either do them certain days of the week or I do them for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So that I don't run into hyperfixation for 3 weeks and then I don't want to do it anymore and have all this fucking yarn because I still have the string from when I said I was going to make friendship bracelets in COVID. So.
Oh, yeah, I never got one.
Exactly. So that's my disclaimer. Go ahead. You can start reading the facts.
Ooh, how long does hair wrapping do? Like, you know how we used to do like the hair wrap? How long does that take?
I don't know, but that is a trigger for me because for my father's wedding, they didn't want to have that thing in their wedding and it wouldn't come out. And so they had to chop it.
Oh, no.
And so I had like a little alfalfa and every day licking my fingers to like pat it down because I had this little like me at 10.
A little alfalfa.
Yeah.
I accidentally did that. I had this one right here, this little hair that you can see, after we came back from Avril Lavigne and I went to go cut out the little rubber bands that we put in our hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cut one and a little bit of hair came out and I said, oh.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of hair always comes out when I do that.
Well, a lot. Like
a chunk.
A chunk of it. And I said, oh, no. And I went to my hair. Like, I didn't tell my hair lady and I was like, maybe she won't notice. She did.
Of course she did.
No, she did.
Oh, she didn't.
If she knows, she didn't say anything.
Okay.
I think I blended it in well with the other curls.
Yeah, no, mine was like right here. So like it would stick up all because someone didn't want to have that thing in their wedding.
Well, because I was thinking we could do that for the Christmas event. You could hair wrap.
Oh, that is a good idea.
But I don't know how long it would take.
I don't think it's very fast.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
And I wouldn't want someone else to live my trauma. Because there was no, like my dad tried to untie it and
no such luck.
No such luck. So,
I'm so sorry.
Whenever I hear about hair wraps and people getting them, I'm like,
just hope no one in your family gets married.
Yeah, because they won't want that thing in their wedding.
Okay, Alabama.
Ooh, I should add that to my list.
Your trauma list?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I should add that to my list.
Look at us, unlocking memories.
Yeah.
All right, you've heard about Alabama's sunny Gulf Coast beaches, but there's a wilder kind of water adventure in the northeastern corner of the state. Rafters and kayakers will find some of the best white water in the South in the Little River Canyon National Preserve. But beware, they don't call the most harrowing stretch the suicide section for nothing. These are expert-level rapids. To witness nature's force from terra firma, dry land, soak in the views of Little River Falls while picnicking nearby.
I had to look that up because I wasn't sure if that was an actual thing.
I'm glad you did. I mean, it makes sense. Terra firma.
Yeah, it was just the article I got it from is like trying to be fancy instead of saying like from land.
Right. From terra firma. The Little River's diminutive name is deceiving. It's taken thousands of years for the river to carve out one of the deepest canyons east of the Mississippi River. The various creeks and tributaries that make up the Little River have the unusual distinction of flowing on top of a mountain. The river meanders atop Lookout Mountain from Georgia into Alabama. At its highest point, the river is 1,900 feet above sea level. It eventually plunges off the Cumberland Plateau at the head of the canyon. I want to go whitewater rafting one day. I don't think I'd ever go in a place that's like nicknamed the suicide section though, because that's terrifying.
So that's also triggering for me and part of my trauma.
Oh my God.
And I'm not trying to say this in an obnoxious way, but truly, like, I've had bad experiences with these things. And on the camping trip from when I was 10, we went whitewater rafting and there was a dip and I had seen people in the boats in front of us like falling out. And I said, well, that would be you, so let's not fall out. And thinking, oh my God, so smart. I'll just scoot in a little bit.
Yeah.
And be in the boat more.
Mm-hmm.
No. So little 10-year-old me, actually wasn't even 10 yet. I was 9. And we go into the dip and my giant guidance counselor fell forward, slapped my leg with his paddle, and squished me.
You're like, I'm not going to die in the water. I'm going to die from this.
Correct. And so it was like the last thing you go through before you get to shore. So I come up to shore crying. And of course, it's the last day. I've cried every single day. Everyone's like, what the fuck now? And I'm like, joke's on you. He almost suffocated me. And I had like the biggest bruise of my life. Went whitewater rafting with my family and my freaking aunt fell out and like almost floated away. So I'm going to be on terra firma when you go whitewater rafting. Because I'm good.
You'll be taking the action shots from shore.
Yes. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right, so here are the historical facts about Alabama. More than 10,000 years ago, people came to the area that is now Alabama, some living in Russell Cave. Thousands of years later, Native American tribes such as the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Creek resided in the area. Although many Native Americans were forced to leave Alabama in the 1800s, today some descendants of these tribes still live in the state. Do they still live in the cave? Well, I don't know. Like,
I don't think they lived in the cave because they came thousands of years later. I'm assuming Russell Cave is a well-known spot for
caving?
No, like it's probably some
trauma?
sort of like, yeah, Russell Cave National Park.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. It's an archaeological site with one of the most complete records of prehistoric cultures in the Southeast.
Oh, cool.
So I think it's just talking about how like this is the evidence from that comes from there.
Gotcha.
Not that, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Native Americans did, but I think they lived just, across the state.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alabama was the central hub of the civil rights movement, with key events like the Montgomery bus boycott, 1955 to 56, and the Selma to Montgomery marches in 1965. Montgomery was the first capital of the Confederate States of America in 1861. Dr. Luther Leonides Hill performed one of the first successful open heart surgeries in Montgomery in 1902. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
In 1954, Anne Hodges became the only person in recorded history to be struck by a meteorite in Sylacauga, Alabama. And I think I read a little bit about this. She was in her living room.
That's crazy.
And it came through her roof and her ceiling and hit her.
Well, yeah, it's a meteorite. I'm sure that could easily.
Yes, but it's like, you just like think you're safe in your house.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You could get struck by a meteorite laying on the couch.
That's true. That is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see your point.
Yes. The Muscle Shoals Sound Studio in Alabama attracted legendary artists like Aretha Franklin, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan. The Battle of Mobile Bay in 1864 was a significant naval encounter during the Civil War, where Admiral David Farragut famously said, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." I listened to a creepy podcast the other day where it was something about like these Russian submarines were practicing some training thing and one of the submarines got like hit. Yes, I know exactly who you think I'm talking about, and that is who I'm talking about.
I listened to this one
Recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they just had to sit in the darkness when all the power went out knowing that they're going to drown.
Did you hear about was that the guy who like survived the drowning?
No.
Oh.
He wrote a letter and put it in his pocket, and they found the letter. Somehow it didn't like get all ruined. But they found the letter of him writing like what's going on.
Mhm.
And then in the like you could tell when all the lights went out, the electricity died, he still tried to write, but he can't see what he's writing and he's shaking because he's so cold. So it's like all scribbly. But yeah, they found the letter, so they knew exactly what happened.
Oh, I don't think is that. See, I don't listen to those ones where people get trapped.
They scare me so bad.
That's why I don't listen to them.
Because then I just think of how terrifying. And then when the lights go out, I could just picture myself thinking like, okay, this is a dream. Like I have to wake up soon.
Mm.
And then you don't.
Yeah. Well, at least not alive. Who knows? Maybe you wake up somewhere else.
Maybe.
Someone else.
Richie and I just started Yellow Jackets. So if you are late to the bandwagon like we are, skip ahead like a second.
Or not even on it.
Yeah. In the very end of the first episode is when the plane crashes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see like it's like you're in the plane as it's crashing. Both Richie and I were on the couch like, and then when it ended, we both just slowly turned to each other and I was like, I can't breathe. We were both like, oh my God, my anxiety. Like, oh God. Whew, scary. Okay. Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her bus seat in Montgomery in 1955 ignited the modern civil rights movement.
Did you know that technically she wasn't the one that did it? It was a younger girl who was the one to actually refuse to give up her seat. But I think she was like 16 and pregnant.
Oh.
And so image-wise,
mm-hmm.
they used Rosa Parks instead.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Not that Rosa Parks wasn't a part of the civil rights movement.
Right.
She was. That's why they used her.
Right.
She was involved.
Oh.
But yeah, I forget what the other girl's name was, but she was the one who actually did it.
Wow, that's sad.
But PR is important.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But
yeah.
For this movement, I understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun fact.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, Huntsville, developed the Saturn V rocket that sent, or is it Saturn V?
I'm assuming Saturn V.
Saturn V or Saturn V.
I think it's Saturn V.
Saturn V rocket that sent astronauts to the moon. There's no way to know.
There is, but that's okay. Sorry.
And then here's just some fun facts. So the historic first 911 call was placed in Haleyville in 1968. To commemorate this milestone, the phone used to make the call is now displayed in the Haleyville City Hall. Again, I was listening to a podcast, and the guy is like, something was happening with his girlfriend, and or maybe it was before cell phones. So yeah, she called from like a home phone or something. And I was thinking, call 911. And then I realized the time I said, oh my God, it didn't exist.
Nope.
Ugh. The Vulcan statue in Birmingham stands at 56 feet tall and weighs over 100,000 pounds. It symbolizes Birmingham's roots in the iron and steel industry.
Why was that so difficult for you?
I don't know. Dothan, the peanut capital of the world, produces about half of the peanuts grown in the United States. The National Peanut Festival features everything from peanut butter sculpting to a peanut parade.
I want to go.
I do too.
I love
we'll make it onto
peanut
our
butter and peanuts.
Spooky, fun, weird thing list. Mobile's Mardi Gras is the oldest annual carnival celebration in the United States.
Carnival.
It's more family-oriented than New Orleans' version, featuring moon pies thrown from floats instead of just beads. I could get behind that.
Family-oriented.
Hmm?
I just laugh at family-oriented.
Oh. Enterprise, Alabama is home to the only monument dedicated to an insect, the boll weevil. While it devastated cotton crops, it forced farmers to diversify their agriculture, ultimately boosting the local economy.
You know what probably would have helped them avoid that? If they had actually not kicked out the Native Americans and probably listened to their farming practices, because I'm sure that they already had that down.
Probs.
Just saying.
The bourbon-laced Lane cake, created by Emma Rylander Lane of Alabama in the late 1800s, gained literary fame when mentioned in To Kill a Mockingbird. Did you read that? I know we had to read it for school, some classes.
Mm-mm.
I did not have to. The Cathedral Cavern State Park near Woodville features a massive cave with one of the world's largest stalagmites, nicknamed Goliath, which is 45 feet tall and 243 feet in circumference. That's wild.
Do you hear my stomach?
Oh my God, that's your stomach? I thought that was just a plane outside.
That's my stomach. I'm so hungry, I guess.
Oh my God.
I have a bar. I'll eat it after this.
Alabama is known for concha sausage, a beloved Southern delicacy that's produced in Evergreen and has developed a cult following across the Southeast. You've never heard of this before.
Let's see. Me neither. Hickory smoked pork.
Mm.
It looks like any other sausage that you might see.
Okay.
With It just doesn't say what it's like. I'm assuming it has different kinds of spices.
Just a beloved delicacy.
Why is it spicy?
Decatur hosts the annual Hot Air Balloon Festival, which is the largest of its kind in Alabama. While historically significant, the story of the Tuskegee Airmen is also a source of pride and fascination. They were the first African-American military aviators trained in Tuskegee, Alabama during World War II. In Scottsboro, Alabama, the Unclaimed Baggage Center is a one-of-a-kind retail store where airline lost luggage items are sold. It's a treasure hunter's paradise. That would be really fun, actually.
Right? I would love to go.
Yeah, I would too.
Like a giant consignment shop.
Ooh. The 127-yard sale, which runs through Alabama, stretches for 690 miles and is considered the world's largest yard sale. That would overwhelm me.
Yes.
There's this store that Joe and I recently went to, and it has like rows and rows of booths like you'd have at a farmer's market.
Yeah.
There were so many. I was starting to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We had to start at one side and we couldn't like veer. We had to go down each aisle or it's just a lot.
Well, and like things like that for me, like I have to remind myself, you do not have to go to every single one.
We would walk by every single one, but we didn't like have to stop for every single one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot. The town of hosts an annual rattlesnake rodeo featuring snake handling, races, and educational exhibits about rattlesnakes. I would actually love this.
I wouldn't love the rattlesnakes, but it's kind of funny that it's like kind of like a kind of place.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wonder if it's because it has a fucking rattlesnake rodeo.
Probably. Located in Birmingham, the Alabama Jazz Hall of Fame celebrates jazz legends with ties to Alabama, such as Sun Ra and Nat King Cole. Is that your stomach again?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's hungry.
The pecan is Alabama's official state nut. The state is one of the top producers of pecans in the U.S. I said it both ways so that people would know that it could be either way that they want it to be.
Okay. It sounds like it comes from someone who says pecan instead of pecan.
You say pecan? Or no, you say pecan?
I say pecan.
For me, it depends. It's pecan pie. It's not pecan pie.
Yeah.
It's pecan pie.
Yeah.
It just depends on the mood that day. Known as America's Amazon, the Mobile Tenshaw Delta is one
You
of...
skipped the... Oh, no, you didn't. Just kidding. Sorry.
Is one
Shut
of the
up.
largest river deltas in the U.S., featuring diverse wildlife, including alligators, black bears, and manatees. Once nicknamed Sin City, Phoenix City was a hub for organized crime and corruption in the mid-20th century.
What a way to spell Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. It's spelled Phenix. It's better than the other one where it should be like Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or Phoenix.
Isn't it Phoenix?
It has just like a random O in there.
Yeah.
It underwent a dramatic cleanup and is now a peaceful town. Is that what your dark history is going to be about when we come back to Alabama?
Sure.
No way to know.
I didn't read these. Just copied and pasted.
Alabama's Sipsey Wilderness is home to the Big Tree, a tulip poplar over 150 feet tall, making it the tallest tree east of the Rocky Mountains. The Mobile Carnival Museum offers an in-depth look at the history and artistry behind Mardi Gras costumes and traditions.
There's a, you could call it a museum. I'd say more of a warehouse in New Orleans that has all like previous floats.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. I haven't been there.
I have.
You've never brought me to there.
Well, I don't even bring myself to there. My dad brings me, and then my grandma brings me.
I want to be brought one year. Okay. Chattanooga Bakery, which makes moon pies, has a strong Alabama connection as the treats are a key staple in Mobile's Mardi Gras celebrations, which I read about earlier. Rickwood Field in Birmingham, built in 1910, is the oldest professional baseball park in America. It still hosts vintage baseball games and serves as a nostalgic venue. It's a lot about Alabama.
Yeah. I think it only feels like a lot because we did a lot of talking.
It could be. And I like how yesterday you were like, we're not going to talk very much. We've seen each other for the past 2 days.
I meant that we didn't have much to say before.
Even though we still did.
Well, yeah, kind of. But like, we didn't have like true super updates to share.
That is true.
Prior to recording.
That is true.
The talking was for the benefit of the podcast.
Oh.
So that doesn't count.
Valid.
Thank you.
What tale do you have today, Mackenzie?
First and foremost, who in their right mind built a playground in a cemetery? Huntsville, Alabama. That's who.
Okay.
Secondly, I found this topic while I was at work, which is at a school with young children.
With a playground outside.
Yeah. Thirdly, ghost children are way creepier than adult ghosts, and I will not be answering questions at this time. Maple Hill Cemetery is the largest and oldest cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama. The cemetery was founded in 1822 with only 2 acres of land to its name. Today, the cemetery encompasses nearly 100 acres and contains over 80,000 burials, including 5 former governors, 5 U.S. senators, and numerous historical figures.
Wow.
The original 2 acres were sold to the city of Huntsville in September of 1822 by Leroy Pope. The oldest grave with a marker still intact is of Mary Frances Atwood, who was the infant daughter of William and Martha Atwood. Mary Frances died on September 17th, 1820. Don't ask me where she was buried for the first 2 years prior to the cemetery opening. Headstones are sparse in the oldest section, many having decayed and been discarded over time, and it is likely that many unmarked graves share a similar early date.
Why does Atwood sound familiar?
I attempted to see if Margaret Atwood, famed author of The Handmaid's Tale, was related to these Atwoods, but it was hard to say because she's Canadian and I don't have the know-how to trace genealogy.
There we go. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I know you did the little hand up thing. And you were like,
I was
wait.
like, I know where your thought was going.
But then I was like, oh, we're talking about headstones now. Time to ask.
I wanted to get through finishing that part of the story and explaining. I just thought it was funny because everywhere said that Mary Frances died in 1820, but the cemetery didn't open until 1822.
Oh, yeah. Ew.
So I'm like, where was she the first 2 years? Like,
where was she chilling?
Right. Where, literally. So, but I also heard Atwood and I was like, wait a minute. That sounds familiar. So I Googled it and I was like, well.
I think we say that almost every episode. Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
That's who we are.
We have too many names in our head.
Right. Don't know where any of them go, but they're all there.
The cemetery was expanded at some point after 1849. During the Civil War, Maple Hill Cemetery became the burial site of 187 unknown Confederate soldiers and an uncertain number of Union soldiers. Most of the Confederate soldiers buried in the Confederate section on the north side of the cemetery died early in the war of disease or accidents while in training camps close to Huntsville.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I find it kind of lame and a little funny when you're a soldier, especially because it's Confederate soldiers.
Right.
I'm like, you didn't die in battle. You didn't die in action. You died because you got sick.
Kenzie.
What? We're not on their side?
We're not. That's true. Boo.
Numerous Union troops who died during the federal occupation of Huntsville. See, they failed. The Union took over. So they failed anyway.
Yeah.
Are believed to have been buried in unmarked graves throughout the oldest section of the cemetery. Most Union graves were moved to Chattanooga National Cemetery in 1867, though some may have been missed. In 1873, the cemetery was further expanded through the purchase from James J. Dunnigan of 12.45 acres. In this new addition, 2 sections were created for religious congregations, such as a Jewish burial section and a Catholic section. The cemetery had been called the Burying Ground until 1901, when it was finally given its official name. The purchase from James B. Stevens in 1924 of 59 acres on the east side of the cemetery tripled its size and gave it its present shape.
Which is what?
Big.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it had like a specific shape.
I don't know.
Oh.
It didn't look weird.
Okay.
When I looked at the map.
So just like an oval. A kidney bean.
He was more of like more squarish.
A square.
Which I may be wrong because it was just in a square picture.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know. In 1987, a private company, Maple Hills Cemetery, Inc.
Oh.
What led to a corporation for cemeteries? Really cool, but I want to know the backstory.
I mean,
you don't just land there.
It's always going to be a needed company.
Correct.
People are dying to get in.
But like a company. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm sure it was dumb.
I said, because people are dying to get in.
I knew it was dumb. Anyway, they developed a cemetery adjacent to the cemetery proper on land formerly used by the city of Huntsville for athletic fields.
Ew.
In 2007, the city-owned section of the cemetery had virtually run out of available plots. In an attempt to enlarge the cemetery, they tried to remove playground equipment and picnic tables from the city park that adjoined the cemetery.
No.
This was met with extreme resistance from residents in nearby neighborhoods. The public outcry of the city's actions without the proper due process was enough to stop the encroachment into the park and neighborhoods. The playground on the grounds of the cemetery is referred to as Dead Children's Playground by locals and is considered to be Alabama's most haunted site.
How awful.
According to legend, many children who died in Huntsville during the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic are buried in Maple Hill plots near the playground. The spirits of those children, some say, come out after dark to run and play as they might have in life.
Oh.
It is true that many children, as well as adults, died during the worldwide pandemic, which killed an estimated 50 million people worldwide and hit Huntsville particularly hard. Maybe they didn't believe it was going on. Many patients were treated at home with large quarantine signs on the doors, a practice which resulted in the disease spreading through entire families.
Ugh.
Bodies were often stacked on wagons and hauled to morgues by horses. To try and prevent the spread of the disease, parents warned their children to keep the windows closed, and a nursery rhyme even surfaced. And it's not creepy, it's genius.
Okay.
I had a bird, its name was Enza. I opened the window and influenza.
Oh!
Isn't that clever?
That is clever.
For those of you that aren't sure, influenza means flu.
I like that actually a lot.
I thought that was so clever.
That is clever.
I was like, wow, look at you guys. Got enough time on your hands, I guess. According to the Alabama Department of Public Health, the deadly flu arrived in Alabama by way of Huntsville on September 25th, 1918. The Birmingham News from an October 5th article said, quote, reported cases of Spanish influenza have increased to more than 1,100 in Huntsville. According to Dr. C.A. Grote, health officer of Madison County, there have been an additional 300 cases and 7 deaths in the past 24 hours.
Ugh.
On October 7th, the governor of Alabama ordered closure of public places statewide, including stores, schools, and churches. Deja vu.
What year are we in?
1918.
Ugh.
By October 13th, Birmingham News was reporting that only one local pharmacist and one local doctor remained uninfected, saying, quote, a desperate situation exists in Huntsville growing out of the Spanish influenza epidemic. All druggists, physicians, and prescription clerks, except one, have been stricken with the disease, and a distressing appeal reached Montgomery last night in telegrams for immediate help for the stricken city. There is no official count of the number of children who died in Huntsville during the pandemic, or even how many of them were buried in Maple Hill Cemetery, but a walk through the cemetery and a peek at some of the headstones gives a hint. The headstone of a young soul who passed near 1918 is most likely one of someone who died of this disease. So adjoining this cemetery is the playground. And it looks like any other playground. It has a modern swing set, climbing apparatus. It is also surrounded on 3 sides by limestone that has helped form some caves in the area.
Oh my God.
Which kind of adds to its like creepy appearance.
This is probably the creepiest playground ever.
100%.
Let's put it next to a cemetery and some caves.
It looks creepy. Like even the daytime pictures, I'm like, that looks fucking creepy.
Ew.
Anything where you have to like kind of go through like a forest of some kind to get through is immediately creepy.
Immediately creepy.
Like if it cannot be seen from the street, it's creepy.
We actually have a couple. It is snowing. Yay. We have a couple where my parents live that you have to like, there's a lot of walking paths.
Oh, I remember.
But you go, the walking paths lead you to like playgrounds in the woods.
I was immediately thinking of that playground.
I think we're thinking of, the exact
same one.
Which I can only imagine how creepy that would be at night.
Right. The proximity to the historic cemetery also doesn't hurt for why it's so creepy. Visitors to the cemetery and those who have visited the playground witness some pretty strange things. Passerbys often say that they can see the swings moving on their own volition, as well as orbs or spectral figures. Some have even said they can hear the laughter and shouting of children as if they were playing on the playground.
No thanks.
Despite local legends, it is a regular teen hangout for many generations and was the driving force in the restoration of the playground after it was taken down in 2007. So, some experiences. We got some from Reddit.
Oh, love it. Yes.
There was like a whole page dedicated to it. And I was
Naturally.
like, God bless. So this is from First Citizen. And they said, Dead Children's was a bit of a regular hangout with a jazz stick and some friends. Location for me many years ago. I don't know what a jazz stick is.
I don't either.
I'm assuming it's something, some sort of innuendo for something.
Probably.
Personally, never experienced anything weird. I do have a pal who lives right across the street and claims to have had some weird experiences. This is from Deleted.
No.
I don't think that's their actual name.
I think it means their account was deleted.
Oh, their account.
Oh my God, yes.
I was always confused. I was like, if it's deleted, how is the post still here?
Yeah, it's probably their account has been deleted, but the post is still going to be there.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Unless they're trying to be super clever and like made their account named deleted.
No.
But I think it's probably their account has been deleted.
Yeah. So this is what this person said. This happened about a decade ago, perhaps a tad less, so my memory might be a bit foggy, but I'll give one of my creepy experiences a go. A girl I was dating at the time took me to the DCP. I just love that it has a little acronym.
I know.
Because I'd never been there before, but I had heard rumors that it was haunted. We pulled up a bit before dark and hung out by strolling through the cemetery because she thought the cemetery, and cemeteries in general, was a peaceful place.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people do think that it's like a peaceful place.
Well, no one's going to really bother you.
Exactly. No one alive, anyways.
Yeah. We wandered back to the playground as the sun began to set, and we hung around the playground until dark. We walked around the playground a bit until she noticed small lights at the far end of the park. There were just a handful, and they fluttered in the air like lightning bugs, and that's what I was convinced they were until I realized that they were bluish. Then, trying to explain them away, I suggested maybe it was a car headlights reflecting through the trees, and probably a few other mundane things like that. We watched for a few moments, maybe a minute or two, until she became visibly nervous and uneasy. Then we jumped in her car and somewhat carelessly got the fuck out of there. This was a long time ago, and we both have somewhat vivid imaginations. It could have been ghosts, it could have been some kind of explainable light fuckery or pranksters, or it might have just been some trippy-ass fireflies. I don't know.
Or ghosts.
I've been back a handful of times since, and nothing eerie has happened, so I'm going to assume it was some unexplainable non-paranormal phenomenon.
Ew, we don't like this person. Live a little.
Well, some people just need to tell themselves stuff to feel better.
True.
So this is from Graystar421. Went there a while ago with some college friends. Captured a shit ton of orbs on my camera that I tried to recreate in other locations but could not. Swings would swing by themselves, and the creepiest thing of all was the fact that all of my friends and I started to feel like throwing up and gagging uncontrollably, so we started running for the parking lot.
Oh.
The minute we stepped foot on the parking lot, we were fine. One of the scariest experiences I've ever been a part of.
Gross.
And I did look at their pictures.
Oh.
And there's definitely orbs, and I know they're orbs because I thought it might be dirt.
On your cameras or on your screen?
Yeah, and it's not.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's interesting, the orbs.
Yeah.
Because there is like pictures of a bunch of the same spots, and some have them, some don't.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to take like multiple pictures of one spot.
Yeah.
So that if there is anything, you can kind of compare it because you're like, I took all of these in like the span of 3 seconds.
Right, exactly. So this is from 1329 Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer of 2000, I was there with a few friends. It was after dark, but it was like 100% humidity and hot. And hot as the devil's ass. Oh, I'm so using that now. We were not drinking or anything, just hanging out. We were there for probably an hour or so, no sort of ill feeling, swinging on the swings, making out in the little hamburger climbing thing that was there then, being teenagers.
Of course.
One of our guy friends decided it would be funny to start taunting the ghosts.
No.
He was just goofing off trying to scare us. At first, he was saying things like, I bet you ghosts are too scared to come out, etc. But one of our friends said that they were all children, so he switched to kind of a sick narrative about daddy beating them.
Ew.
And how they were naughty children and their moms and dads never loved them.
Oh.
It was honestly really awful, and looking back, maybe he had some parent issues. But shortly after he started the more harsh statements, there were one of those huge humidity heat thunderclaps that happened in the summer here sometimes, just out of nowhere. Needless to say, we all screamed and ran back to the cars and got the hell out. Coincidence? Probably. Scary? Yes, sir. So this is from hauntedhouses.com.
Oh, yes. Love it.
So I don't know the names of the people. I just know their title for their post. And this one's called Kids.
Ew.
And this one was like 2023. I don't know. It was recent.
Oh, wow.
I'm 24 years old now, but when I was a really little kid, I lived close to here and experienced what I feel is, to this day, the most surreal experience of my life. I was playing on the swings and my sister was off somewhere else. I can't remember where, but it was not at this playground. I suddenly noticed another kid on the swing next to me. They didn't talk or anything until they told me to look behind us, and I saw a handful of kids climbing the wall and coming towards me.
Ew.
I couldn't move, and as soon as the first in this group of kids reached us, they all disappeared. I kept this experience and didn't tell anyone about it because I didn't think anyone would believe me until a few years ago. I researched the place and found the legend. This person says murdered kids. I don't know. And apparently this was never confirmed, but the area that they said the kids were hidden in was the exact spot where all these kids were climbing from.
Ew.
I don't know what she's talking about. It isn't the only time I experienced something like this in a place like this. It was the first I'll never forget. I know what I saw.
I don't like that.
So I'm just like picturing this person like sitting on the swings, and then there's this like ghost child next to them. And then it indicates for them to turn around. And so they turn around and they just see like kids like climbing down like a wall.
That's
like
kind of what I
spider.
pictured.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No. This one's called July 2023 Experience.
Oh my gosh.
My grown daughter and I visited the playground on Monday, July 23rd at approximately 2 to 2:30 p.m. It was about 95 degrees and absolutely still. We were drawn to the rocks behind the playground by chipmunks. We were watching the chipmunks play and scramble on the rocks. For some reason, we both turned back to face the swings. The 3 sit-down swings were all swinging, with the one in the middle moving the highest. Again, it was completely calm, and the other set of swings were perfectly still. This is during broad daylight. We both felt some kind of presence there. Who knows, but something was happening there.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
Good. It's payback, bitch.
Oh my God.
I should have come up with a creepy story.
You should have. That would have only scared you more.
No, because I'd been reading it.
Oh my God.
Maybe. Might have creeped me out, but it wouldn't have scared me.
Okay.
This one's called Play Ball.
No.
There was an EVP voice that was heard say, take it, right before this person took a picture.
Ew.
Had an old tennis ball thrown from the small fence down at us by the swings.
Oh.
I thought it was like a pine cone or fruit fall from the trees until I noticed there were none of those things on the tree. Had 2 other witnesses who saw it all happen.
So they just had like a ball thrown at them?
Yeah, so like they're going to take a picture and the EVP heard a voice say, take it.
I don't like that.
And then apparently a tennis ball thrown at them.
I don't like the ball things, like when someone's like sitting somewhere and a ball comes rolling at them or is like thrown at them. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Nope, it's second to mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah, don't like that either.
Yeah.
I always scare myself when I'm like washing my face or something. I'm like, what if something's behind me? I just can't see it in the mirror and I turn around and nothing's there, but it still freaks me out each time.
Yep.
Like, why do I do that to myself? I don't need to do that to myself.
So this one is called Doubtful. My lady and I decided to go and see if this dead children's playground was really as haunted as people say it is. Neither of us heard, felt, or saw anything out of the ordinary. People say that you have to be there at about 3 a.m. to experience anything. The local police advised against you going there in the middle of the night and warned that you might get a citation.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why I put this one last. Orbs are not ghosts, period. My conclusion is only haunted by what you take with you.
Ew.
Yeah.
Go away.
I felt they had a good message about trespassing.
Yup.
So
especially like when it's a playground. You need to be real careful about what you're doing at a playground.
Proceed at your own risk.
Yeah.
In conclusion, don't build a playground in or immediately next to a cemetery.
I think that's wise advice.
Thank you. And that is Dead Children's Playground.
I really think they should call it something else.
No, this seems to be like a Huntsville tradition.
I don't like it.
Like it seems like this kind of place has been around for years.
I mean, even so, Dead Children's Playground is not a very good name.
No, that's probably why they call it DCP.
But it does tell you exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know for sure if you can see the cemetery, but it's right next to it.
It's right there.
If not in it. Like, it's basically in it.
Yeah. I mean, if they were trying to get rid of the playground to, like, expand the cemetery, you're right there.
You're right there.
No.
So it's even like, even if nothing happened at the playground,
there's still stuff seeping in over there.
Right, because it's like, I'm sure you have children buried there.
Yeah.
And children want to play.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is good for the ghost kids. They have a little playground next to where they're forever resting.
Yeah, I'm all for them playing and having fun, just not when I'm there.
Right.
Just not in my presence.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
We have a friend who lives in Huntsville. I'll have to ask if he knows about DCP.
Ooh, yeah, you should. That'd be cool.
Hey, got a quick question for you.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. And there were so many experiences. It's so funny doing this type of research because you either find just like in general, people have said.
Yeah.
And you can find nothing. Or you find pages on pages. I'm like, I barely have to go over the history. I'll just talk about what people did.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't have to watch a single video.
Oh, praise.
That's always the best. When I can't find them on like a Reddit or whatever, like comments, I know that means I have to go watch a video.
Oh, darn.
I don't like them.
You can go to TikTok.
Well, I'm usually on my computer.
Yeah.
I can't really open TikTok on my computer.
You can't sign in? I don't know how TikTok works. I don't have one.
Some things are just like a mobile app.
Ah.
And I feel like Instagram and TikTok are one of those things.
Could be.
Twitter, you can go on your computer because that Twitter started before mobile apps were like a big thing.
Yeah.
So, Shaw.
Well, nicely done.
Thank you. What's spooky to you point, Lauren?
Okay, so When I was looking over our last Alabama things that we've done, we've only covered like people and true crime.
Well, yeah.
So
There's
that's
only so
why-
much that happens in Alabama.
Well, I know. So that's why I was like, this time I'm going to do something spooky.
See, it's interesting that you look at it as like, what did we do for the last time we did this state? Versus I look at it as, what did I do for the last episode?
No, I think of that too.
Okay.
So I did want to do a person because I've covered spooky things a lot recently. But then I was like, but we've only covered people for Alabama. And I was like, Alabama deserves to know what's creepy there.
I looked at it as, I know for our Christmas and our New Year's one, it will most likely be people. So that's why I chose it to be.
Oh, well, for our Christmas one, I think I'm not going to do a person. I think I'm going to do like spooky.
Okay.
That book next to you. Christmas lore.
Why?
Because it's scary. And it's from all different countries. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the Bear Creek Swamp. And I realized covering this, there's a lot of things called Bear Creek. Because I also covered the one in, was it New Hampshire?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bear Creek murders.
Uh-huh. So this is a
There's
swamp.
a lot of bear stuff. For Michigan, we had sleeping bear.
A lot of bears.
A lot of bears.
Because bears are scary.
We're big bear people here.
So, the creepy and spooky Bear Creek Swamp is located in Prattville in Attuga County. So this swamp is bisected by Highway 14.
You don't hear bisected often.
No, you don't. But it's the main east-west corridor. So for years, the swamp has been a source of fear and terror among those in Alabama and a rite of passage for teenagers to visit the swamp.
What's it called again?
Bear Creek Swamp.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it had like creepy in the name.
No, I just said it's creepy.
Just besides the fact that it's a swamp.
Yeah, gross. It is filled with tales of mysterious booms, floating orbs of light, apparitions of long ago warriors, a ghostly mother searching for her missing child, among many other stories.
Lovely.
So, like I said, there are many stories that surround this swamp. So one story that surrounds the swamp is that of a mother roaming the swamp looking for her lost child. So one version of the story is that the child drowned, but another is that the long ago warriors actually made off with the child instead.
Warriors of what?
I will get into the warriors, so just keep that in mind. But the rumor goes that if you go to the swamp in the dead of night and repeat, "I have your baby" 3 times, the woman will attack you.
That sounds like a dumb idea.
It is a dumb idea.
That sounds so stupid.
So stupid. So as I was looking into this, in Prattsville, there stands a haunted old cotton mill, the Daniel Pratt Cotton Gin Mill Company.
Okay.
They say this mill is haunted by the Lady in Black.
Oh.
So she is widowed. It is believed that her husband died at the mill, like many other workers did. Then her son, Willie Youngblood, fell down an elevator shaft and died.
What does that have to do with the swamp?
I will get to it. I just had to throw in that there was an elevator death involved.
Did you see my Be Real the other day?
You in an elevator?
Yeah.
Yes, and I hate it so much.
I think about you every day.
I looked at that the other day and I was like, she has to go to an elevator every day. I could not.
I'm not walking up 4 flights of stairs.
I would rather do that.
Which normally, yes, but I'm telling you, one day I'll bring you to the school. These 4 flights are different than regular 4 flights because if you think about it, like a school is big. Each floor is tall.
Yeah.
So it's long.
How many, you need to count next time, how many steps are in between each floor?
Well, it depends on which stairs you take.
Ew.
I always go down.
Okay. So just count next time and let me know.
Okay. It depends on what stairs you take.
Give me a rough estimate. like a average.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll count it for each stairwell.
Thank you. I would really appreciate that. So this lady now wanders the area looking for her son. So I wonder if it is the same woman. See, that's our connection.
Did it not say whether she was in white or in black?
No, it doesn't. It
It
just
just
says
says
there's a woman
woman.
wandering.
You know, it could be.
But our friend at Kicking
But
the
he
Buck-
died in the elevator, not in the swamp.
the son, but the mom is now looking for the son.
In the swamp?
In the area. And the area is right next to, it's Prattville. So the swamp and the old mill are both in Prattville.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I guess.
So our friend at Kicking the Bucket with Meg, which is a website,
Wow.
she looked a little into the history of the town. So there is a story of a man who was paralyzed at work. His wife tended to him, treating his bed sores with acid. Well, unfortunately, her son found the acid, drank it, and died. His name was Willie Youngblood.
Was his full name Will Youngblood?
I think it was William, but he went by Willie.
Okay. The last name is Youngblood.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So that could be our woman wandering looking for her son. So he wouldn't have drowned or been taken by warriors, but he died.
Yeah, I still think it's a bit of a stretch.
Well,
She's looking in the wrong place.
she's looking in Prattville.
Yeah, but she should look where he died. I thought that's the thing. I thought that was the rule.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know these rules. There's always a mom searching some area for some kid.
That's true.
It sounded a little bit like La Llorona, like looking around the swamp. La Llorona? Kenzie.
Lauren.
She is from Mexico. That's where the tale starts. And she is a mother who some believe drowned her kids or lost her kids. And now she's associated with water trying to find her kids. But if you hear sometimes it's like if you hear singing, it's because she's luring you to the water to drown you or to drown kids so that other people can feel her pain.
Oh.
And so it's a warning that families will give their children, don't go out at night or La Llorona's going to get you.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. I've heard of stregonona.
What's that?
It's from Tommy DePaula, the stone soup. Just keep going.
Okay. So there's this weird thing in Alabama that has been happening for decades. There have been reports of booms coming from the swamp. It's like booming noises.
I feel like we've talked about that in a swamp before, haven't we? Isn't there some sort of scientific thing?
I don't know. Back in the 1980s, these booms were chalked up to moonshine stills going off, which nowadays has evolved into meth labs blowing up.
Yeah.
So but another simple explanation could be that landowners are blowing up beaver dams.
Oh.
But it's much more fun to say that it's something supernatural.
And it's not nice.
It's not nice.
It's not nice.
So along with the booms, the swamp has many eerie sounds as well. People have reported hearing the sound of footsteps following them when they are alone. They have also heard the sounds of something heavy moving through the brush.
How do they know it's heavy?
You can hear when something's heavy. Others have described hearing growls, howls, and whispers.
Growls, howls, and whispers.
Just like at the event yesterday when I told people to go look at the coats and the goats.
No, that was good. I gave a goat a grape.
You did give a goat a grape.
But now that I think about it, was it the lamb?
It would have been the lamb.
Because we misspecied.
Well, because I looked at the eyes when we were feeding them the grapes.
I think it was goat.
And the eyes looked normal. No, they didn't look like the creepy goat eyes.
So
I think it was a lamb.
Sheep, lamb. Oh my God, I said a goat on my Instagram story.
Oh my God.
That's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
No one corrected me.
You should be so embarrassed.
All of my friends are morons too, because not a single person.
I wouldn't have known. I only knew because the guy told us.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we walked up to that one guy and said, "Can I pet your goat?" And he said, "It's a sheep." And I said, "I'm sorry for misspecied."
I think he said it was a lamb.
A lamb is a sheep.
Isn't a lamb a baby sheep?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so yeah, a lamb was a baby sheep.
But saying it's a sheep is not incorrect.
You're right.
Thank you.
You're right.
Just like saying a puppy is a dog is not wrong.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. But you wouldn't say that child is an adult.
Yeah, but you would say it's a human.
Yeah, but a human and a sheep, it's like a, I don't know. What is their title? A cow is like a bovine. I bet sheep has the same kind of thing.
I thought bovine was just for male cows.
I don't know. I think that's something with, no, I don't think so. I think a bovine is the cow thing.
Yeah.
And then I think a bull is a male cow. A heifer is a cow that has not had a baby.
Oh, wow.
And a cow is one that has had a baby. I talked about this in our cattle mutilations.
Yes.
Look how much you listen. I don't
not
read your
so much
categories. You don't listen to my stories.
Not so much listening.
Retaining.
Correct.
Okay, so in this swamp, if you stop in the middle of the road, turn off your vehicle and wait, you may see lights begin to flicker far out in the marsh.
I have a question.
Why do people do this?
And who thinks, the first person to have done it, to have then experienced this, to then say, hey, you should try it?
Right.
What made them think, let me try this and see what happens?
Maybe their car broke down.
Okay. That's still a big jump from me being like, well, my car broke down, so that means that you should try turning off.
Well, they could be like, my car broke down, and then I saw these lights coming towards me. So someone was like, ooh, I wonder if I'll see the lights. Let me stop here where their car broke down and see.
That makes more sense.
That's what I think.
Okay.
So if you wait even longer, the orbs will start to float towards you. Some people have experienced a tall glob of light, about
glob.
Yes, about 3 to 4 feet tall. It was so
That's a
hot
huge glob
that when it passed by a car, a girl inside of the car could feel the burning heat radiating off of it. Others have reported seeing this light, and some part of them will suddenly start burning, like their hands or their feet.
It sounds like it's like a star or something.
Yeah. A group once reported to see a ball of light cross the road and turn into the woods. They then heard what sounded like 2 knocks on the back of their truck. Absolutely not.
No.
Some people have even followed these lights and have been led deeper and deeper into the swamp.
Why?
Only for the lights to disappear and leaving the person lost and disoriented.
Well, that's your own fault. I don't know why the fuck you'd do that.
This reminds me of the Will of the Wisps, which I covered for, I think it was Louisiana.
Mhm.
Like the lights that people will follow and then they get lost in the freaking swamp.
It reminds me of Finding Nemo. When they're
The light.
they're like following the light, and then they get to like the scary fish.
Yeah, the anglerfish.
Yeah, that's anytime you talk about someone following a light, that's exactly what I think of.
Yeah, it's leading you to death.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure that's why the angler has the light.
It is, yeah. It's to lure animals to eat it, like to eat them. So these orbs act in a way that is not consistent with swamp gas. So people are always like, oh, it's swamp gas. That's why you're seeing the lights. But it moves and like acts in ways that you can't contribute to swamp gas.
Okay.
As always, vehicles experience issues here. Batteries will mysteriously die or they'll have a hard time turning the car over. Sometimes it happens when visitors are trying to leave quickly. So they try to hightail it out of there only for the car to not turn over until the very last second. So like
the car's like, patience, please.
Like if these orbs are coming to you, you're like trying to start your car and then right before it gets to you, your car starts, you can leave.
That's terrifying.
So going with vehicles, there are also phantom cars. So they will speed up on adjacent roads only to disappear into the darkness. A group was once there and had a camera set up on the road trying to like catch like the orbs and just kind of whatever they could there.
Mm-hmm.
In person, they saw a car go flying by them in one direction. Clearly,
but it wasn't captured on the camera.
Clearly going over the speed limit. Shh, don't ruin the plot. Then they saw another car going in the opposite direction, clearly going the speed limit. When they watched the cameras back, they only saw the slow car with no sign of the fast one.
So they saw a car.
They saw it in person, but the camera didn't pick it up.
Interesting. Usually
You've got a fast car.
Usually it's the other way around, isn't it?
That you see it on the camera and not in person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes. It depends. Things happen. Things don't happen. There's no way to know. Like sometimes you'll hear something like in person and then your cameras won't pick it up. Yeah.
See, I just trust the technology a little bit better because it's...
Oh, I don't.
Less human error.
But then it's hard to trust technology when you're in a place that literally says it messes with technology.
Yeah, but your mind can play tricks on you.
That is also true.
So
that is also true.
I think we're at a stalemate here.
Either of us could be right in either direction we go.
Correct.
Yes. There is a common apparition that people see. It is a 4-foot-tall figure, not the glob of light, a different figure, that will pop out in front of cars. People have also seen the apparitions of Civil War soldiers.
I was really hoping that the 4-foot figure would be a man so that I could say he was a short king. It was just a figure.
Just a figure.
Ugh.
A female apparition is reportedly seen, maybe the one looking for her child. A couple hiking through the area encountered a wild-looking woman with a gaunt face. She screamed before disappearing into the underbrush when they approached her. I know. One woman experienced the sound of a woman yelling. When she turned towards the noise, she saw red eyes staring at her, getting closer. Her friend pulled up in a car, and the eyes vanished. So her story was like she wanted to see if she would see anything creepy, so she told her friend, like, I'm going to get out of the car, you drive down to the end of the street, drive back to that end of the street, and then pick me up. So, like, I can see, like, if anything happens, and that's when she saw the red lights, or the red eyes. Many people have reported hearing a splash in the water, and when they turn, they see big yellow eyes staring at them. And then before the white settlers...
Stop staring. It's not polite.
It's not polite. And then you wouldn't see big yellow eyes staring back at you. Before the white settlers took the land, this area was inhabited by the Creeks, which we talked about at the beginning. But even before that...
So they weren't in a cave. They were in a swamp.
These ones were.
Yeah.
The land was inhabited by the Alabama, one of the oldest tribes in the area.
Oh, okay.
It is said that the spirits of their warriors are the ones seen walking at night. And this is awful. So the Atuga and Tawasa Indians were members of the Muskogee Creek Confederacy. They were removed by force in the 1830s and forced west on the Trail of Tears.
Shocked.
I know.
I'm pretty sure, like, most of the southern states.
I looked at a list of the Trail of Tears, and it's like, yeah, Alabama, Mississippi, kind of those states were
not so much
forced.
Southwest.
Yeah, not so much Southwest, but definitely, like, South.
Yeah,
like
a lot of places pretty much east of the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then a weird thing I read, there are an unusual amount of snakes and lizards around an abandoned house in the swamp. So there's an abandoned house, and people have reported there's just an unusual amount of snakes and lizards.
That's weird.
But many visitors who have visited this house have reported hearing footsteps, whispers, and even voices coming from inside of the abandoned house.
How do you know it's not the lizard?
The lizard's whispering? That's hissing.
Well, could sound like a whisper.
Yeah. There is also believed to be a swamp monster. So reports say that there is a large ape-like creature who may be responsible for unexplained noises and odd tracks found around the swamp.
Maybe his booms are his farts.
Maybe, Mackenzie.
But you didn't think of that one, did you?
I really did not. The prints that they have found are described as being too large and too strange to belong to any known animal.
I thought you said prince. Like prince and princess.
Oh, no, like the
I was like, there's a prince of a swamp? I'll go here.
Sometimes these prints appear in places where they shouldn't, such as on the side of trees or in areas that would be difficult for humans to reach. So this could be the white thing, which is a cryptid native to Alabama. Like, it's literally called the white thing. There have been reports of people who had ventured into the woods, never to be seen again.
Well, you know, that happens when you do something stupid like that.
Though it is impossible to find any true documentation of this.
Well, they disappeared. They can't say I disappeared because they're
there's
gone.
no even thing saying missing person.
Well, maybe they weren't missed.
Oh, that's so sad. There is also an intense feeling of being watched or even followed while in the swamp. It leaves visitors with a feeling of dread and paranoia even long after they have left.
What's also interesting, too, when we talk about like these forest swamp type areas and like feel like you're being followed, like there's also animals that live there.
That are like probably stalking you.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or just walking in the same general direction, happen to be staring at this new weird creature that's in their habitat. Not saying that it couldn't be spiritual entities that are staring at you and following you, but we do need to take in consideration that you're in the wilderness.
That is true. Very true. So I wasn't able to find this like in multiple places. It was in like 2 small things.
Okay.
But apparently our haunted swamp houses a well, which reportedly has magical powers.
Are you going to actually tell us more about this well, or are you just going to like start it and then just not finish it?
Bitch, I will tell you as much as I found online about this well, and I searched. The Creek Indians were in this area until 1814, and they would use this well for legendary healing properties.
Oh.
The county, Atuga, actually got its name from Atagi, which is the name for pure water, or the word for pure water. That's all I can tell you about this magic well. I searched, I looked.
So
that's all I can find.
Did it again.
I looked.
Why even mention these magical wells if you're not going to expand on them?
Because it was interesting, but that's all anyone else is able to expand on. There are many ways to find this place online, but many websites offering exact GPS locations. But all of these directions always come with a caveat: do not go alone. Unlike the other place that we covered where it was like, go alone to experience the mystery.
Right? I was just about to say, not go alone so 2 people can get lost instead of 1.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a couple experiences of people who went.
Naturally.
So Kaylee Hall grew up in Prattville and went to the swamp when she was 16 with a group of friends. She was 34 while she was retelling her story.
Okay.
She said that she and her friends arrived and called out to the woman looking for her baby 3 times, like what you're supposed to do. She said it was quiet until they heard a splash and a scream. Ooh. She and her friends booked it out of there. She says that she has not been back since.
Don't blame her.
Another group went and did the same thing. They said nothing happened for about 5 minutes until they said the last, "We have your baby." So they tried to, after they said the last, "We have your baby." So they tried to start their car to leave, but their car shut off and they could not get it to turn back on. That is when they started to hear a woman laughing in the woods. Right as they thought they were done for, the car turned on and they were able to peel out of there.
Fuck that.
So that's the whole car not starting until the last moment. A group went and decided to try the whole "we have your baby" thing also. They parked, turned the car off, put the keys of the car on the roof of the car.
Why?
I don't know. Then they chanted "we have your baby" 3 times. At first, nothing happened, but they soon started to hear rustling in the bushes coming closer. They tried to get back in the car, but the doors were locked and the key wouldn't unlock them. As they were freaking out trying to unlock the car, one of the guys in the group screamed out in pain. He looked down and his leg had a large gash on it and it was pouring blood.
Jesus.
At that moment, the doors unlocked, they all got in and sped out of there. Once they were back on Highway 14, the guy whose leg had been gashed open looked down in shock. There was absolutely nothing wrong with his leg, no gash, not even a scratch, and no blood.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Another guy
But I mean, also like, thank you.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, another guy did this and said that while standing next to his car, so he did the whole "I have your baby," he felt something grab his ankles. I know how much.
No.
Such a gasp.
I hate that shit.
I know how much you hate it, so I had to include it. When he looked down, Nothing was there. People have experienced a strong feeling of not being welcome in the area. One group went to the area and turned on a recorder. They clearly got the recording of a male's voice saying, "Get out of here." And if the spirits and haunts aren't enough to scare you, something else in the swamp might.
Oh.
Years ago, in November of 2014, Autauga County Sheriff's Office recovered 21 dolls from the swamp. The dolls had been impaled on bamboo stakes and placed throughout the swamp where they could be clearly seen from Dirt Road 3 in some sort of doll graveyard. Some of the dolls had been painted stark white with what appeared to be spray paint. They were wearing different dresses, and most were porcelain and had an appearance of being an antique.
People are so fucked up.
The police were contacted after residents in the area started to express concerns on social media.
So they didn't call the police?
No one did. They just were expressing concerns and the police got wind of it. Thankfully, the police think that the motive behind their placing is more mischievous than sinister and that it was just a Halloween prank by local kids.
Probably.
Because they found it in November, thinking it was placed in October. The officers had to paddle out in a canoe to retrieve all of the dolls.
Honestly, you know what then? Good for you for that kind of dedication.
I know. Still to this day, no one has taken credit for the dolls, and they are being housed in the evidence room of the sheriff's office.
I never would.
Quote, "The owners can come and claim them anytime," said Sheriff Joe Settinger. "All they have to do is tell us why they put them out there," he said with a laugh.
That is one of those things that you confess on your deathbed.
Yes, I put the dolls. And so as of 2014, the Autauga County Sheriff's Office is asking that if anyone knows any information about the owner of the dolls to please call their office at 334-361-2500. Because after 10 years, I still don't think they figured it out.
Don't be a snitch.
So in conclusion, I'm not doing it for every episode. It just worked really well for this one. The swamp is pretty popular around Halloween with teens, kids, and just your everyday people hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghosts that lurk in the swamp.
You know, you could come up with your own catchphrase if you wanted to.
I don't need a catchphrase. I just wanted a nice way to end this one.
I just need it specifically for this episode.
Because you know how I always have my little tight subtitles for how I do the research. I was like, well, in conclusion works for this perfectly.
Why do you think I do it all the time?
Exactly. So yeah, that's Bear Creek Swamp.
Well, if you're into that whole haunted thing, you could go to the swamp and then travel over to the playground.
Actually, let's see how long it would take to get from Huntsville to Platteville. It would take us 9.5 hours to get there from here.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to say 9.5 between the two places.
No. And then Prattville, Alabama. They're only 2.5 hours away from each other.
Day trip.
So you really could do a day trip to just these two spooky places and tell us all about it.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Itchy chin.
I'm so sorry about that. So we're coming up to the holiday season. So our next 2 episodes are going to be fun holiday episodes.
It's the holiday season.
The holiday season.
Santa Claus. Now. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I know too. Though we probably heard it about 5 times yesterday. Follow us where you get your podcast, like and review us.
Yes. I'll tell you after.
Okay. And if you review us, let us know and we'll send you some stickers.
Oh, something I want to caveat. I thought of this earlier when we were listening back to the little promo thing we do.
Yeah.
A Scary State podcast is for social media. A Scary State is to find the actual podcast.
Yeah.
Which you probably know since you're listening to it.
Right. But tell your friends.
But when you tell your friends, it's just have them look up A Scary State. And then on social media is when we add the podcast part.
Yeah.
So just to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay scary.
Stay safe.